Yeah, we suck right now. The culture is actually like, I'm just praying for the Lord to deliver me from the pick sixes.
As the new NFL season officially begins with the start of free agency, there are unfortunately some things we must go over. New rules. As with most things the league has done, it's allegedly meant to improve the game, but some of them have led to more controversy than not. One of these changes that totally won't cause this is the banning of the hip drop tackle. Any infraction called by officials will now be 15 yards and an automatic first down. Another judgment call penalty and a league plagued by them. Oh, wonderful. The replay booth can now review instances of roughing the passer and intentional grounding. But knowing how well the pass interference reviews went, my hopes aren't high. What could be ironically useful are the new kickoff rules. They had to do something about them. The kickoff had been relegated to nothing but touchbacks for the most part. If you watched the XFL this past year, there'll be a slightly modified version of them. The kicker kicks off at his 35-yard line, and the kickoff special teams line up at the opposing 40. All but two players on the return team line up at the 35-yard line, not to move until the ball is received by a returner. The goal for the kicking team is to hit it in the landing zone, between the 20 and the goal line. If the ball lands or goes out of the end zone for a touchback, the ball is spotted at the 30-yard line. If it goes out of bounds, it's spotted at the 40 like it was before. Onside kicks also must be declared, thus eliminating surprise onside kicks. We'll definitely be complaining about these things in the future, but their newest gift to us comes with 2 games on Christmas. Wednesday football is back after a 4-year hiatus. The NBA is seething in the corner. The Chargers are what happens when Chinese water torture is amalgamated into a football franchise. Slow, agonizing torture that only makes you desire for the sweet release of death. Past follies and poor decisions from the Telesco regime have forced a shedding of older veterans and fan favorites. The cost of cap compliance is steep. Keenan Allen traded to Chicago for a pittance. Mike Williams released instead of hope he can recover from injury. Austin Eckler left to wander the abyss. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack restructured to keep them in the fold. Justin Herbert is now that gift from Fresh Prince. Looking around an empty room wondering where the hell everyone is. Question marks in the unsure hands of Quentin Johnston are all he has. You know what that means? All aboard the Gus Bus! His power running style will surely be an asset to a Harbaugh team. Same as Will Dissly is the new tight end of the franchise. Bradley Bozeman in to replace Corey Linsley's good too, I guess. Unfortunately, the Chargers are forced to retool on the fly, especially after the disaster that was last season. Only good news for them is that there's nowhere to go but up. I think.
The Los Angeles Chargers select Joe Alt, tackle, Notre Dame.
Okay, this is definitely an interesting pick. Figured that if gone Neighbors or Bowers to add to Herbert's arsenal, but a powerful tackle? Part of me likes it. You have a premium asset at QB you need to protect. And Alt's got the bloodlines to make him a good one. Do you want to trade Justin to the Patriots or Vikings? Fuck no. He'll probably be moving from left to right tackle, but Harbaugh has set the tone for the franchise. Builds from the inside out. A strong offensive line leads to a strong offense. And I certainly don't blame him for that logic. Another hard reset for the team that should still be in San Diego, yet stubbornly remains because the NFL has no soul. This time around, Dean Spanos managed to pay a proven head coach trying to escape sanctions from the NCAA. It worked for Pete Carroll, it'll work for Jim Harbaugh. In his quest to avenge the bulky screwjob, he's going to siphon the powers of the Baltimore Ravens that once bested him. His right-hand man at GM, their running backs, the Greg Roman Empire himself. It may be a long burn, but the rewards will hopefully be great. Once Justin Herbert overcomes his plantar fascia injury. Good news is he should be ready for opening day. That might be the only good news this team gets. He'll pretty much have no one to throw to besides a Quentin Johnston without hands, but he'll make it work. Herbert's had to carry some shitty teams in the past. This one may take the cake. To be fair, that's what you get when you join the Clippers of football. The AFC is a lot like recent years. Very wide open, but seems to lack the true power that it once had. Most of it has to do with general aging and salary cap constraints, but there's a lot of intrigue and probabilities to go around. You can make an argument for many teams here to make the playoffs. And that's a good thing for us all. The AFC East particularly has a new opening. While it's available, I still feel that Buffalo squeaks by despite competition from the Jets and Dolphins. The AFC North, it's still the Baltimore Ravens. They've always been a strong regular season team. The AFC South is very interesting. Every team's got a legit shot, but I'm choosing the Texans due to their talent level. The AFC West is still the Chiefs because God hates us all. But wild cards? Damn, that's tough. I'm going with Cincinnati, the Jets, and Jacksonville. Honestly, just throw darts on a billboard and you'll have a better chance of picking them. Such is how we all like it. Preferably with endless chaos. The Raiders traveling to SoFi. You know that it means it's going to be a glorified home game for Las Vegas. It has been since 2017. And also since that year, the Raiders found a way to shit themselves against the Chargers there. They tend to do well against them in their so-called home. And despite it being a rebuilding year in Jim Harbaugh's coaching debut, Liquid LA was composed and formidable. Las Vegas just kept making errors. Plenty of them regardless of situation or field position. Any chance of taking the lead, it's time to shoot yourselves in the foot! And this goes for Antonio Pierce's coaching too. You know, Raiders, just because you botched a 4th and 1 at your own 40, you punted on 4th and 1 in Charger territory in the 4th quarter? What the fuck is the logic in that? You better find a way to get the ball back. And that doesn't mean giving up a 61-yard run. Trusting the Raiders defense? Everyone knows you don't even think about it. This horrible error in judgment means the Chargers win by managing to use their brains, unlike the silver and black. I still can't believe the Raiders trusted their defense. That's fucking hilarious. Say what you will about events in Springfield, but in Charlotte, everyone's eating the cats. We all know things can always get worse. And in David Tepper's circus, the lions have escaped the cage and are mauling the bearded lady. Or is that Bryce Young being minced? You have to bench him at this point. The dude's living in the David Carr simulator. He's lost the confidence of himself, the fans, and his teammates. Legitimately trending to be the worst first overall pick of all time. And it's not just him, the whole team's trash from top to bottom. The coaching staff's lost in a strip mall for crying out loud. Jim Harbaugh has some semblance of structure. And that's all the Chargers needed. Carolina's lucky they could compete with a ragtag group of YouTubers. Liquid LA, thanks to this bounty, are somehow 2-0. Now, as long as Herbert's not significantly banged up, they'll be good. It says something as to how unbelievably bonkers a week is when the most normal game involves the Chargers and Steelers. These two franchises. Normal. At least I know what the hell to expect from both groups. Pittsburgh's going to slowly crush teams to death with their defense and an offense that can occasionally do things. The Chargers will find ways to extract the horrible pain that their 74 fans in LA didn't know they still had. It's truly amazing. A tight game with both teams showcasing regimented football unraveled for Liquid LA faster than Spanos can get fucked. In Pittsburgh, everything will die. Hope, harmony, and health? Gone. Justin Herbert re-aggravated his ankle injury and it was downhill from there. Joey Bosa, Rashawn Slater, and Joe Alt. One-way tickets to the Blue Ten of Doom. Like a young Disney star, sterile and inoffensive until corrupted by outside forces in the second half. The Steelers are the harbingers of despair. 3-0 with the most plotting brand of football this side of Arthur Smith. He looked damn good too. Even scored a touchdown longer than 40 yards. Through the air. Thought that was illegal. Maybe they really are going to the Super Bowl. The bullshit is real. It always has been. If you don't believe it is, allow me to show you the light. The Kansas City Chiefs. God's chosen team. Only they can allow Patrick Mahomes to make bad turnovers that inflict severe damage in many ways. Only Mahomes can inadvertently run into Rishi runs, ending his game and potentially his season with a torn ACL. Not speeding in traffic this time, are you, Rishi? Besides, who needs him when the Chiefs' defense is going to clamp down and inflict horrible pain in their second home of SoFi Stadium? The Bolts are already without a huge chunk of their playmakers, but beating them outright doesn't give them a thrill. They like their prey to squirm before the kill. Chance to get more points? Take them! Wait, Dicker missed the kick. KC merely responds in kind with one of their own. How about a drive deep into Chiefs territory? A 4th and short near the goal line. It's botched. And it wouldn't have mattered since there was offensive holding. Tough shit, boys, you'll suffer the consequences of existing. Mahomes and the offense do their thing and score a touchdown while Jim Harbaugh pisses away timeouts. Kansas City goes to 4-0 with another wonderful win of needless acrobatics. Deus Ex Machina reigns supreme. Let it out, Justin. Chargers really are bearing his spirit alive. Ride never ends, Denver. Chance to prove the hopium of yours to be more than a noxious gas came and went like the wind. Too bad for you that Liquid LA has things that you don't, like offensive talent and a quarterback, and the ability to score points in the first half. Field of play became hell. Everyone's injured. Patrick Surtain got knocked out with a concussion. The Broncos are down to yarn and string on their O-line. Even coaches weren't spared. Jim Harbaugh left the game with cardiac arrhythmia, but he returned shortly thereafter with new pants. Pulled a Lamar in the process. I respect it. The Broncos also Lamar'd all over the field against a team featuring fresh pants. Over by the third quarter, game, set, and match. People are gonna pretend that Mo Picks is showing progress, but ignore that he was 4 for 13 when the game actually mattered. Stats were padded in the extra long garbage session. You know who else was good in the fourth quarter? Kenny Pickett. At least he bullshit out some wins with his arm. Denver just deals with the never-ending anguish. Liquid LA somehow gets some happiness out of this, but the hopium will still be huffed in Mile High. They need something to numb the pain. Can't watch a game without getting ESPN Plus or sailing the 7 seas of piracy. Did it ever happen? Perhaps the Chargers are hoping for the same thing. This game was poetry. An interception by Liquid LA only to bring back the trauma of Marlon McCree. If Justin Herbert had anything resembling a decent receiving weapon, the Chargers crushed the Cardinals in every facet. It's so bad there they have to trust Jalen Reagor. We all know how well that goes. With everything conspiring against them, their only option is to try the field goal challenge. No touchdowns, only the leg of Dicker the kicker. Arizona also has legs. That of Kyler Murray. The eternal Cocktease is doing everything he can to bring the Cards a win, kicking and screaming. While Arizona has the lead, and their defense has been doing yeoman's work, they can't do enough to stem the tide. Liquid LA gets into field goal range and drives yet another kick through the uprights to retake control late. All the Chargers have to do is... Oh no. They're collapsing. Crumbling into 1,000 pieces as Arizona gets into field goal range. It never ends.
Right down the middle. And Arizona grinds.
It doesn't matter the coach they have. It doesn't matter the personnel. It doesn't matter the opponents, the riches, or the desire. Chargering always prevails in the end. Arizona rips the win from their cold dead hands to stake a claim for the NFC West title. You heard that right. The Cardinals have a modest chance of winning it. Stolen a few games this year. They could steal that too. I've also run out of things to say about New Orleans. They were dead long before they got to LA, and they were somehow even more dead by the time this game was over. All the Chargers had to do was breathe, and their hollowed-out opponent would kill at first resistance. Hell, the Saints defense was doing everything in their power to nudge this team to their first win in over a month. Nathan Shepard tried to earn a bounty for taking out Justin Herbert with a cheap shot. It was a tight game. There was a 10% chance that chargering would occur. Then the levee breaks. Vlad McConkey raced all over that field in the second half, and just like that, Nola's season's all but over. 6 losses in a row. The Bills come due. Years of kicking the can down the road has left this team old and decrepit. All I hope is that they don't blame it on injuries again and repeat the Sisyphean boulder rolling. Knowing Loomis, he probably will. Dennis Allen's rearranging deck chairs at QB, but what's the difference between shit and a different hue of shit? Free wins for everyone in the AFC West. Denver and Liquid LA, birds of a feather. There aren't many of these gimme matchups in the NFL. Take it and run, boys. New Orleans certainly isn't.
I told you, Browns fans, Famous Jameis is a fun kind of terrible to watch. He's a Fugazi, you never know what to expect from him. This Winston Cup is one with Costco stats. Bulk everything, especially turnovers. Oh, Jameis never figured out how to stop throwing terrible passes to the other team. The Turnover Bakery now runs a concession stand in the Factory of Sadness. The Famous Jameis experience. You beat Baltimore, yet look like puke against the Bolts. Liquid LA just did the typical Harbaugh thing. Crush them with strong defense, possess the football, and pound it down their throats. Smash fucking mouth. The score doesn't do it justice. Berea had absolutely nothing today. Chalk it up to another all but free win for the Chargers. Another simply to keep pace in the wild card. Cleveland season's done. All but cooked a char in a broiler, but at least Winston's entertaining. Like a really bad B-movie. He's not Deshaun Watson. That's all that matters.
Enjoy your 5-win season. Jim Harbaugh is a simple man. He sees a team that his group should crush on paper. He will do everything in his power to castigate them in public. The Titans are arriving on a wave of memes. Will Levis is back in the saddle after weeks of inactivity. And in solidarity, the Bolts will strike them down to on-field inactivity. Smothering and suffocation, sheer demoralization and deflation at all angles. Worry about Tennessee? They're dead after a barrage of 3-and-outs. Slow and methodical, as easy a win a team can get since, well, the last few weeks. Sometimes you have to take advantage of the easy part of a schedule, and the Chargers have done that. Their defense is strong. Their offense is led by Justin Herbert and a strong rushing attack. They have the pieces to make the playoffs again. If they do, we'll see how they fare with this next stretch. Cincinnati awaits. Good luck, gentlemen. I don't think a game best represents peak Bungles and peak Chargers more than whatever the fuck we witnessed on Sunday night. Two frustrating, perpetually cursed franchises branded with torment and turmoil. Liquid LA will step up to the plate first. Cincinnati's awful defense and poor management will ensure that they're undone at every turn. The Chargers' D is dominant. They are relentless and suffocating. Joe Burrow can do nothing. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert and company have carte blanche. They are destroying the hopes of everything Cincy holds dear. And with a 27-6 lead in the second half, it should be over. Keyword is should. My friends, if you're experienced in the meme world, you should know what's about to happen. Throughout history, a phenomenon has occurred known as chargering. It's when a surefire win for Liquid LA is squandered at every opportunity due to their recessive genes. The most basic tasks are floundered and their adversaries allowed to come back into the game. Or maybe it's just Joe Burrow being a god with Jamar and T wreaking havoc on the secondary. Either way, the Chargers are so embarrassed they should go back to San Diego. The game is tied. God, fuck you! Just want a blowout win for an easy segment and you pull this shit? Even worse, since he decides at this moment, nah, we're good. We'll just fuck everything up from here. Evan McPherson channeled the spirit of Justin Tucker. Current year Justin Tucker. He went Democrat and kicked everything to the left. Really, Evan? One job and you can't even do that? So who the fuck even wants to win this game? Anyone? Please? Would it make sense just to tie? At this point, Jim Harbaugh just throws his hands in the air and says, fine, we'll take the win. Chargering's gotten too predictable. Let's throw a twist on the formula.
In front of Kane, Dobbins runs left. Dobbins takes off. Dobbins inside the 2. Dobbins to the end zone. In for the touchdown.
The Chargers did their best to choke this game away, but by God, the Bungles just wanted failure that much more. It's to be respected. Only a team as inept as them can repeatedly find ways to coach and play themselves into a cardboard box and be shipped off to Abu Dhabi. You have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins putting up the stats they do every week, and you're 4-7? Do you know how pathetic you have to be to waste such ability? These are generational seasons in franchise history, and they're turning into Trout and Shohei with the fucking Angels. Nothing around them. An inept fool at the helm. Mike Brown's cheapness undoing them at every turn. Even Jamar's pissed about it. LA escapes their own incompetence in the style of Staley. One word of advice. Don't turn around. There's absolute destruction behind you. Harballs are back in session. Brother pitted against brother in a crucial matchup of the AFC hierarchy. Baltimore isn't fond of pissing away back-to-back games. And if you remember, John beat Jim in the most important matchup they faced off in. The same thing happened here. The Chargers are good, but the Ravens are simply better. Liquid LA is like Rudy. They train for long hours, they exert every last bit of their ability, they do everything they can to win. It doesn't matter when you're going up against a 6'5" defensive lineman chiseled from marble. You're roadkill. Even then, the Bolts keep it tight for a half. The Ravens then pulled away thanks to their incredible offensive talents. LA suffers from Quentin Johnston. He's got the dropsy. This guy was picked over Zay Flowers. Go figure. Baltimore pancakes Rudy 6 feet under the ground and reasserts their position in the AFC North. Last week was a fluke. They'll get a chance at the black and gold again. And while the Ravens are to be treated with skepticism, they are a really fun team to watch at their peak. The Chargers might be able to get there eventually. Give it a few years. Hopefully. I will never cease to be amazed at how the Falcons find the most unbelievable ways to lose football games. When young Wei Ku's been infected with the same disease afflicting Justin Tucker, it'll be a long day at the office. In solidarity with Atlanta's history, it's due to their own hand. Their defense suffocated anything resembling a Charger attack. Sure, LA's without J.K. Dobbins, but the Falcons should be winning by at least 2 scores. Justin Herbert can't do it alone. They actually have a pass rush today. The division is being handed to them on a silver platter. Until you realize one thing. Liquid LA's defense is relentless, and their target is a philanderer of Cousins, terrorizing him for 4 interceptions. But that might be more on Kirk. What a disaster. He's telegraphing every move. Dude turned Tar Heap still into prime champ Bailey. The Charger offense doesn't even need to do anything when Kirk's near single-handedly giving them the game. Yes, Drake had a horrible drop as well. But it's time to take a long walk in the woods. Stay a little bit ahead of me, it's for the best. Kirk, just keep looking at the flowers, man. Don't turn around. Just tell me about the daisies and the rabbits. It's that time of the year again. When the playoffs start to peek into the picture and we discuss the scenarios at hand. Such a chaotic time, but not really for the AFC. Their picture's pretty much set, barring a collapse or 2. Kansas City and Buffalo have already punched their tickets to the dance. Pittsburgh will most likely with another win. Houston's only saving grace is that their division is ass and they have tiebreaker over the Colts. Baltimore, the Chargers, and Denver bring up the surprising wildcards of this conference. Indianapolis is still gunning for that final spot even if it's a long shot. Miami and Cincinnati are still alive, but barely. There's been a lot of disappointment for teams this season, but there's still a chance they remembered the rules.
Don't get eliminated!
Welcome back to hell. It's a land where the NFL fandom will be gaslit into thinking the Chiefs aren't masters of Deus Ex Machina and dark magic. Prepare for illusions and demons spawn unimaginable to the human mind. Scholars of the game cannot comprehend the ways in which they will torment their prey. Suffocating the Chargers in the first half is not enough. The 13-0 lead at halftime is far too boring an outcome. They have to let their guard down for the sake of game manipulation. You can't let your opponent believe there's no chance of victory. There's no fun in that kill. Let Justin Herbert and his companions score back-to-back TDs. My goodness, Liquid LA having a lead? This is surely going to hold and in no way lead to a close Chiefs win. Kansas City will begin a long drive of their own, gnawing away at the Charger defense, but it won't be enough to score 6. A field goal from Matthew Wright is their only reward. Not San Diego must charge forth, and the patented Harbaugh drive is their staple. Slowly chip away at the rival standing in their midst and push them back to field goal range. But they need a touchdown. They don't get it. They're forced to rely on Dicker the kicker to take a 2-point lead with about 5 minutes left in the 4th. We already know what this means. Turn off the TV, this game's over. Oh no, Kansas City's making a final push down the field with a chance to win? How absolutely surprising. Making the clutch seem so mundane, a Chiefs standard. With the allegations of rigging the game cry throughout the night.
This is for the division, for the Chiefs. And right, off the upright, and in for the division!
All you can do is laugh. Only the Chiefs can pull off such bullshit in this modern age. They have truly been blessed by the gods to win the AFC West. Let every other franchise be envious of their might and luck. You know every single one would be doing unspeakable horrors to get it for themselves. This former hero may have made a heel turn, but Kansas City embraces it well. They did go through a half-century of failure to earn it. Justin Herbert also earned that leg contusion, if you know what I mean. The bullshit is real. Never forget it. 1 month left. Get your tickets to the postseason ready now or be left out in the cold. We know the drill by now. The AFC hasn't seen much change from last week. No clinchings, but Pittsburgh's 1 step closer. Houston, Baltimore, and Denver were on bye, but the Chargers lost to Kansas City's Black Magic, make it a 3-way tie. It's not set in stone. Indianapolis is a paper-soft schedule to end the year. Beating Denver will go a long way towards a hilarious berth. Miami and Cincinnati are both still alive, but have a steep road ahead of them. You aren't out of the dance until you hear the dreaded words told to a few teams already. You know them by heart.
Don't get eliminated!
So much for a tight contest. Liquid LA's story unfolds like a timeshare salesman. Smooth talking and swap to start, then you get locked into a room for 8 hours and are forced to agree to their terms just to leave. The Buccaneers should have been a formidable opponent, but not like this. The first half is the smooth talking. A neck-and-neck bout playing right into the Chargers' strengths. Hell, they even have a lead headed into halftime. That was merely playing right into Tampa Bay's trap. The second half is a death sentence for the poor fools on their defense. Baker to Mike Evans go burp. What a combination. If you're a Browns fan, shield your eyes. Mayfield's embracing the underdog role and thriving at SoFi to the tune of over 500 yards of offense. Stout Harbaugh defense. A Justin Herbert bailout. Not tonight, buddy. This win all but seals the division for the Bucs. Which is surprising considering the sheer amount of attrition they've suffered throughout the season. Regardless, they persevered. And thanks to their resolve and Atlanta's impressive choking, they can do the impossible and absolutely hilarious. The NFC South is in their own hands. Crazy to think, but this has been a very strange year. You usually don't survive 4-game losing streaks. Well played. 3 games remain. This week was critical in deciphering the playoff formulas, but it doesn't mean that we're anywhere close to a solution. We need to go deeper. The AFC's number 1 seed is Kansas City's for now, but with Buffalo's tiebreaker and the Mahomes injury, things could be getting complicated there. The AFC North will be all but decided this Saturday. Steelers and Ravens locking horns. If Pittsburgh wins, they clinch it outright. If Baltimore breaks them, they control their own destiny there. The loser will secure a wildcard spot, and the other 2 are up for grabs. Denver's all but secured one with last week's win, but the Chargers are solely in 7th. They should make it barring a collapse. They do fall Indy gets first rights, followed by Miami and Cincy. All 3 are on life support, however. Get ready. These words are gonna come in handy.
Don't get eliminated!
Never heard of a team willingly flexing their game to Thursday night. Are you sure they're okay? Someone wake up the Chargers, they're getting slapped around silly in front of a crowd of mostly Broncos fans. Denver could pretty much do whatever they wanted in the first half. Run with ease, expose this supposedly strong defense, flirt with their sisters, the Fulmani. A playoff berth with insight with a double-digit lead. But then the uncanny becomes reality. Look to just before halftime and find Liquid LA's McGuffin after a fair catch penalty. A free kick? In this economy? An obscure rule executed to perfection for the first time since the American Bicentennial. Momentum shifted on a dime. What the Broncos could do with ease is now collapsing under Charger might. Justin Herbert's dragging this rotting carcass across several state lines with quite possibly the best performance of his career. Denver's offense was stagnant as hell, but the real issue was that defense. Getting gashed by a unit without J.K. Dobbins and a hobbled Gus Bus. And I was out here praising them for their efforts too. The only praise now comes in a punch to the gut. The bolt shocked the world, overcoming a slide to death itself to grant them victory over a hated rival. The ride didn't end for Denver, it simply lied dormant for maximum carnage, revealing the reality of schedule merchants unable to beat a team over 500. A chance to secure a playoff berth has been struck by lightning. Now beat the Bengals and we can forget about this humiliation forevermore. If not... The time has come to crunch. We're nearing the finish line. And there's still plenty of positions at the round table to play for. The number 1 seed in the AFC will be decided as such. Kansas City's a winning clinch. The Bills need to win out and the Chiefs to lose out to secure it. It's very possible considering their respective opponents. The AFC North is wide open after the Ravens win last week. However, the Steelers still control their own destiny. But if Pittsburgh slips up, Baltimore can make their move. The wildcard slots are pretty much set in stone, barring a collapse or 2. Liquid LA and Denver are all but a shoo-in, just needing to win and they're in. The Broncos' opponents aren't exactly slouches, though. Indy, on the other hand, is playing glorified JV squads. Cincy and Miami are also chomping at the bit if they fall apart. Don't be left out in the cold, NFL world, lest you suffer the greatest humiliation.
Don't get eliminated!
Late-stage football is the epitome of waste to everyone involved. From the personnel overseeing it to the production crew slaving for hours to the fans near blackout drunk from tailgating. The previous 2 groups are envious of them. They'll barely remember this blowout the next day. To be fair, we all will. Most of the football world was watching college bowl games. Did you see the Pop-Tarts Bowl? That shit is hilarious and awesome. Innovation at its finest with a gimmick you'll remember for a while. Dude, the trophy doubles as a fucking toaster. I just want to dig into that Pop-Tart even if the eye stares into my soul. Yes, I am talking about a different thing entirely. That's how little this mattered. Chargers were Reagan and the Patriots were Mondale. Landslide. Liquid LA gets a chance at revenge in the playoffs. Welcome back, Jim. This week settled a lot of questions, particularly with seeding in the AFC. The contestants have dwindled to a few, but there are a couple of spots up for grabs, mainly in the AFC. The North is still undecided. Baltimore now controls their own destiny in this regard. Win and claim it. If they lose and Pittsburgh wins, the division will run through them instead. The final piece of the AFC puzzle is the 7th seed. Denver holds it for now, but a skid leaves them in danger. They're fortunately still win or tie and in. If they slip up, Miami gets the spot if they win. If Denver and Miami lose, Cincy will sneak into the picture. If everyone loses, the Broncos still get it. Oh, what a time it is to be a fan. The stakes are higher than ever. And there are 3 words that echo throughout time and space.
Don't get eliminated!
I remember when this game had significantly more stakes attached to it back in 2021. The Chargers do have a higher seed to play for, but this time they're not interested in a tie. Liquid LA simply going to obliterate their rival on their supposed home ground. At least the Chargers embrace having no true home. The Raiders lord over a stadium of lies. And all they did was get slapped around silly by Justin Herbert and his band of merry men. Quentin Johnston caught footballs. He caught actual footballs in an actual football game. He lived up to his first round billing for once, dominating and helped to lead Liquid LA to a very convincing win. Not San Diego has prevented another playoff harbor. Instead, they shall travel to Houston to face a broken offense. There are so many teams for you guys to thank for this honor. Mostly the Raiders for being a shell of their former glory. Where's your random ass Amir Abdullah breakout game now? The final stage is set. 14 teams remain and are ready to duel to the death. Only one shall remain. And the defending back-to-back contender receives a first-round bye to recharge their mana points for more bullshit. Gunning for revenge, Buffalo has a shot, but will have to take care of business against Denver first. The Ravens receive another showing of AFC North football. The rivalry with the Steelers will add another chapter after Pittsburgh's near-traditional collapse. Liquid LA usurps the 5th seed at the last moment and will travel to Houston to face an ailing fraud squad. In the NFC, the Lions stand tall, despite missing several limbs and vital organs. Coming in second, Philadelphia controls it and faces a team that's upended such a foe last season. Be careful with Green Bay. I'd also be careful if I were the commies. Tampa Bay's been playing with fire, and in their home stadium, it could be a nightmare. Meanwhile, Minnesota's forced to head to LA for a master versus apprentice showdown. Things are hopefully going to get spicy. Who's got it better than them? A lot of teams, actually, but the Charger way is now molded with Jim Harbaugh's handprint. Methodical, precise, khaki pant-driven football that's a defensive wall. One of the best units in the game on that end, countered by an offense of Justin Herbert and Ravens cast-offs. Don't talk shit, J.K. Dobbins is the real key to their production. Plus Ladd McConkey becoming an outstanding receiver in his own right. And Quentin Johnston sometimes catches things. It's not the sexiest operation in the world, but it's efficient. And shedding the miserable reign of Staley has led Liquid LA to an interesting position. A desire for more, yet always fearing the inevitable pain that tends to follow this franchise everywhere they go. This tremendous turn of fortune will lead to a blessed outcome, having their hearts ripped out at Arrowhead yet again. This season has taken us from football heaven to the depths of unwatchable hell. When there's money to be made, the product does not matter. Yet the playoffs are a different beast. In the end, there can be only 2 contenders dueling for the ultimate prize. I'm not even going to try to be optimistic it's going to be Chiefs versus Eagles. The matchup no one outside those cities want because the football gods desire salt. They're shitposters at heart. Very predictable ones, but I respect the dedication. We all hope for something different, but we said that last year. Look what happened. Regardless, good luck to all teams involved. You're probably gonna need it. Sometimes I wonder if Dean Spanos made a deal with the devil to become the Clippers of football. Strong resurgence and quality defense merely turned into a house of cards faster than most charge rings. I know what did it too. The dirty bubble kidnapping Harbaugh. Once this happened, Liquid LA was without a leader as well as a nation. Houston's defense feasted on the carcass of a decaying Greek Roman Empire. Slaughtered without mercy or restraint, walloped beyond recognition. And Justin Herbert? Emmanuel Acho ran so many victory laps it turned into a marathon. As much of a disaster as 27-0 and the damn move to LA to begin with. They should have brought a point. Could have freed Harbaugh in time to save the game. Or prevent a blocked PAT to give Houston 2 more points. By the way, Quentin Johnston, There's the fucking door, buddy. They chose this guy over Flowers and Addison?